Okay, we got a lot of material tonight, so I have prepared a few words, and this will take just a minute, so bear with me a second. Okay. All right. Brian. My little brother, Brian. A lot of people mistook me for his younger brother, but I'm actually his older brother. And Brian and I have so much in common. You know, it's not just the incredible athleticism. It's not just the amazing sense of humor. It's not the physique. It's not the fact that we do have beautiful wives. We have things in common that we're not too proud about. And the first is, and it's been hit on a couple times tonight, we are so forgetful, it's embarrassing. The fact that Brian wore blue socks to his own wedding, and I thought they were black. I actually forgot my suitcase to my brother's wedding. This is true. It's pretty pathetic. So that's one of our terrible Saliter traits. And another one, which is completely politically incorrect here, the Saliter men can produce some terrible gas. And many of you know what I'm talking about, and I'll just leave it there, okay? It's not something we're very proud about. But, you know, Brian and I, despite all the similarities we do have, you know, we weren't always this close. We didn't always have this much in common. In fact, when Brian was 3, 4, or 5 years old, his whole role in life was for me to give him wedgies. That's all I do is just give him a wedgie. And then he grew up a bit more, and we found something in common. We both love to go fishing. And so every Sunday morning, as Mom and Dad know, we would walk down to the local pond, and we would go fishing for hours on Sunday mornings. We would leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, get back right before church, smelling like fish, and probably upsetting all the parishioners. But we would go for hours and hours, and this happened week after week for years. And my mom would come back every week and say, "Michael, what did you guys talk about this week?" And I'd say, "Mom, we talked about nothing. Brian doesn't talk." So, and this is really true. So, it wasn't until Brian got to be maybe 10, 12 years old where he hit his stride. And that's a literal sense in that he found his run for his love for running. And for those of you who don't know, Brian was an amazing track and cross-country star where he eventually went on to be one of the top runners in the state of New Jersey, ran 4-minute, 20-minute miles, and this kid was an absolute stud. And as an older brother, I was incredibly proud of him. But this wasn't until he found his first love. And Julie, I'm sorry. His first love had nothing to do with a woman. It was his love for beer. It ruined his track career. He could have run for Penn State, and he blew it all away. So,
he lasted 2 weeks.
So this is true. Yeah, he lasted 2 weeks on the team. Okay. So not only did his running career help him at school, it actually helped him extracurricular as well. So I'd like to share one story with you, many of you know, but not all of you. And that is, Brian and his friends had this thing about going swimming in their friends' pools while they were on vacation. And not only did they go swimming, they decided to go skinny dipping. Well, they're across town, 5 miles away from home, and the cops come. And what does Brian do? As the cops show up, he takes off, as do all his friends. But all his friends get caught, except for Brian, who's the amazing track guy. And he runs home, down Route 10, which is a pretty busy road, all the way back to Mom and Dad's house. He gets into the home. The policeman shows up at 4 o'clock in the morning because his friends ratted him out. This is a true story. And what happens, normally if this happened to me, the older brother, I would have been punished for weeks. Brian, Dad calls me and tells me, "You won't believe this amazing story about your younger brother." So you owe me a lot because we paved the way for you. Brian Karen, Chrissy, and myself really made it easier for you, okay? And I have one last story about Brian, then I want to talk about the beautiful bride. And that is at the bachelor party. So, I want to set the record straight. We went on a bachelor party last month, 20 guys, we had an amazing time. And unlike most bachelor parties, we decided to just rent out a house and play drinking games. And that's the truth. So we played these games starting on Friday, ending on Saturday night, and it was things like bag toss and basketball shots and bocce, etc. Well, who ends up in the finals? Younger brother versus older brother. David versus Goliath. No older brother wants to lose to his younger brother. But, being the older brother that I am, I decided to throw it. I just want to make sure everyone knows he didn't beat me. I gave it to him. Congratulations for beating me. Okay.
I knew it!
So let's come over here to the woman of the night, Mrs. Julie Saliter. She's absolutely beautiful, and I want to say this with all sincerity. Not only is she beautiful on the outside, this woman is incredibly beautiful on the inside. I am so happy that my brother and Julie met each other because for the first time in 2 years, I no longer have to listen to my mom say, "Michael, do you think your brother's ever going to meet anyone? Michael, can you just talk to him?" Fran, leave him alone, he'll be fine. But in all seriousness, Julie and Brian finding each other has been amazing. It's an amazing transformation my brother's been through. And I will say this, Mr. and Mrs. Albertini, it is clear to see why such an amazing woman sits in front of us, because you guys are great, the family is great, and everyone we've met here has been wonderful. So we want to thank you, and we look forward to some amazing times together in the future. You are truly part of our family, and we're going to have a blast for many years to come. So with that, I'd like to raise a toast. Here is to an amazing new couple that is going to have a lifetime of love, happiness, and remembering that it's actually funny to pass gas. Cheers.